This is hard to believe. Des Moines Schools superintendent arrested by ICE. ICE announcing Friday that Ian Andre Roberts is, quote, a criminal illegal alien from Ghana in possession of a loaded handgun, $3,000 in cash, and a fixed-blade hunting knife. At the time of his arrest, Roberts was working as the superintendent of Des Moines Public Schools, despite being an illegal alien with a final order of removal and no work authorization. Roberts has existing weapons possession charges from February 5th, 2020, and was given a final order of removal by an immigration judge in May of 2024. Absolutely stunning.
Man, here we go again. Imagine sending your kid to school, trusting the person in charge to protect them, only to find out the superintendent, the top guy, was living here illegally, armed with a Glock, cash, and a hunting knife. Well, that's exactly what just happened in Iowa.
And that breaking news, a federal immigration and customs enforcement investigation is underway right now in Des Moines. Take a look. This was the scene that was unfolding inside Ewing Trace Trailer Parks this morning. That's just north of Easter Lake off of Indianola Avenue. Federal agents and local law enforcement were in that area nearby neighborhoods for hours. KCCI's Alyssa Gomez is the only reporter who got inside the park during the investigation. And Alyssa, what do we know right now?
Yeah, well, Bo, we're still here in Ewing Trace Mobile Home Park and on Swan Lake Circle. Now, it's quiet now, but about an hour ago, there's about a half a dozen Iowa State Patrol cars, an Iowa State Patrol canine unit, federal immigration officials, and also Des Moines Public Schools safety officers also on scene. Now, their main focus was a white vehicle parked at a dead end. Iowa State Patrol says that they were pulling evidence out of that car, and we saw them pull a firearm out and place it into an evidence bag. Now, I asked immigration officials if they were looking for someone specific. They declined to answer, but I also spoke with neighbors who heard the chaotic scene, and here's what they had to say.
Next thing you know, I'm hearing come out with their hands up. And obviously, you know, being a single parent, that kind of shook me. This is usually a typically quiet neighborhood. But over the past probably 6 months, like this is not the first occurrence that something like this has had happened.
Now, that neighbor said that things started to get chaotic around 8 o'clock this morning. And again, law enforcement officials only cleared out of here about an hour ago. And that white vehicle that was being investigated, a public safety officer drove that off of the scene. Now, we have reached out to Iowa State Patrol, to DMPD, and to ICE. We are still working to get details about that investigation, and we'll bring you them as they unfold here on KCCI. Live in Des Moines, Alyssa Gomez, KCCI 8 News, Iowa's news leader.
Okay, now here's a mugshot picture of this guy, and he does kind of resemble Michael Finley, the former NBA basketball player for the Dallas Mavericks. I mean, there is some resemblance, isn't there? Anyways, this is Ian Andre Roberts, the superintendent of Des Moines, Iowa Public Schools, the largest school district in Iowa, who was arrested on Friday, not for some minor slip-up, but after ICE agents tried to stop him and he sped away. Now, apparently, he abandoned his car, and the ICE agents had to send a canine unit to track him down in the woods. And eventually, they found him. Now, inside that school-issued vehicle that was given to him by the school district, agents say they found $3,000 in cash, a fixed-blade hunting knife, and a loaded Glock 19. Federal officials called him, quote, a public safety threat. And, here's where it gets worse. Roberts wasn't even supposed to be in the U.S. He entered back in 1999 on a student visa, but his work authorization expired in 2020. A judge actually ordered him deported last year, but somehow, despite that, he was hired to run the entire Des Moines school system in 2023 after a nationwide search.
7:36 now. While students settle into their first month of a brand new school year, officials behind the scenes over at Des Moines Public Schools do continue to work on that reimagining education plan. It's a story we've been following closely for months now. It's now been revised, $265 million initiative meant to address declining enrollment while creating opportunities. So, Dr. Ian Roberts, you're spearheading this initiative behind the scenes. A lot has gone on in the few months, so thank you for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me, Nicole. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, so we we know the latest development is your revised plan that was presented in July, and now volunteers are out there collecting signatures for a petition. How is that going before the Tuesday deadline?
Thank you. It's going very well. Look, the signature collection process is one that involves a number of community volunteers that includes parents, members of our faith-based community, even members of the business community. And they have been collecting signatures, which is a required sort of process in order for us to get this official bond on the ballot. And thus far, we know we want to come to the school board at a board meeting and this coming Tuesday so the board can adopt the resolution. And we have the utmost confidence because of the community's investment that we will get that amount of almost a little over 7,000 signatures.
Now think about that for a second. An illegal immigrant with a prior weapons charge under a deportation order still managed to get a six-figure superintendent job. Parents trusted him to oversee their children's education. And yet, ICE says he was carrying a loaded gun in a school-issued car while on the run from federal law enforcement. Man, you can't make this stuff up. The district quickly appointed an interim superintendent, but questions still remain. How did this happen? Who was signed off on him? And why wasn't his background caught when there were already red flags, including a weapons charge from 2020? Now supporters point to his career. Roberts competed in the Olympics for Guyana, worked in schools across multiple states, and advocated for equity in Des Moines. But critics say this arrest proves the system is broken. Should someone with no legal status and a deportation order ever be allowed to lead thousands of students? What do you guys think? Is this a one-off failure, or is it some part of a bigger problem with immigration and school oversight? Drop your thoughts below, because this story is a wake-up call for everybody.